Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. Well, it is so awesome to be with you. Well, here it is, it's Saturday, and that means it's time for our Spiritualist class. Normally we have our class and our seance today, but I got to be honest with you, I've been doing a lot of work this week, and I'm a little tired. And so I think we're going to keep this short today. I'm just going to do a little teaching on spiritualism. We're going to continue on with our book, also Sylvia Browne, The Mystical Traveler. Next week we'll have a seance, a channeling. I'm just a little tired. I've been working an awful lot, and as I've told all of you, you know who've been here with me, Psychic Bob is not a flash in the pan. I'm here for the long haul. So that means sometimes I got to balance out and take a little break. So today I'm going to just do a short class. We're not going to do a channeling, but I still think you'll enjoy it and hopefully you'll learn something. And tomorrow we're not going to be having the witching hour. Normally we have that at 8 p.m. I'm just taking a break. I need a little downtime. But we'll be back on Monday with horoscopes. So I hope you'll give me a little break here. I love all of you. And as I said, I want to be here for the long haul. So I could rush and stress myself out. But you know what? That's not going to get anybody anywhere. So I'm going to balance my energy. We'll take it a little light, have a little break tomorrow, and I'll be back with you on Monday. But I'm just glad you're here. Whenever I get a chance to sit down with you guys, it's always a treat for me because there's so many things that I want to talk about. I get letters from all over the world. And it's funny because sometimes letters go in waves, like a particular topic will just keep reappearing. And I feel like that's a sign from Spirit that that's something I should address. And lately I've been getting letters from people that say, Psyche Bob, I've been following your Saturday class. I think I might be a mystical traveler. I think I have some spiritual work to do. But Psyche Bob, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I'm worthy enough. In my past, I was a bad person. Some of you were said, well, you had a background involved in drinking or drugs. And you say, am I good enough? Well, will the Spirit let me work? I've had a bad background, a checkered past. Listen, one of the wonderful tenets of spiritualism, and in fact, I'm going to read it to you. This is in the Spiritualist Manual, which is the official guidebook of spiritualism, the religion. And there is a point in here I want to talk about because so many people have been writing me lately saying, Psyche Bob, I feel like I want to do spirit work, but I don't know if I'm good enough. I think I've been a bad person. Some of you read and said, well, Bob, I was in prison. Now I'm out of prison. Can I still do spiritual work or am I washed up? Well, listen, the spirit world never judges anybody. God, infinite intelligence, that's what we call God, infinite intelligence, is great enough to embrace all of its creation. And so you are veritably the child of God. The very spark of divinity lives within you. And so no matter what you've done, don't let that stop you from going forward. I think if every spiritual worker thought about their past and said, gosh, I was a bad person. I can't do anything spiritual. I'm washed up. Well, I don't think we'd have anybody doing spirit work on earth in this world. So this world and the spirit world are so connected. What's important is that you learn from your past. If you've made a mistake, say, you know what? I made a mistake. Offer it up to God. Try to make restitution where you can. Make some peace and then just move on. I heard a New Age person one time say, you just got to grace it and get on with it. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. And so I want to read to you this principle. This is part of the official doctrine, if you will, of the Spiritualist Church. And this is actually I put on my glasses here, point number 8. And it says, this is a Spiritualist official statement, we affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any soul here or hereafter. And so what that means is you can always get back on the right path. I had somebody recently write and they said, Bob, I've disappointed my whole family. I got involved with drugs. I lost all my money. I spent my family's money. I bankrupted my dad's business. I got arrested. I shamed the family name. I broke my wife's heart. She had to leave me because I so devastated her. My children don't speak to me, and my whole life is in shambles. Is it possible I could be a mystical traveler? And the answer is found in principle number 8. You are always welcome into the light of the Godhead. You know, point number 1 says, we believe in infinite intelligence. What is infinite intelligence? That is the concept of God. Now, in spiritualism, God's not some man up there throwing lightning bolts. God is an all-pervasive presence, an expansive mind that operates in love. In fact, I'm going to read this to you because I think this is important. The philosophy of spiritualism, in brief, and it defines infinite intelligence. It says, infinite intelligence pervades and controls the universe, is without shape or form, and is impersonal, omnipresent, and omnipotent. What that means is that divinity flows through all things. You are part of divinity. You can no more separate yourself from divinity than an electron can separate from an atom. Or, well, I don't know if that's the best example, but you just can't separate from divinity. So this Godhead, this power, is omnipresent, meaning it's everywhere. You can't escape it. And it's omnipotent. It's all powerful. So from the mind, the conscious, we believe this is a conscious force of Godhead, of divinity, of deity. It loves you. And the Church of Spiritualism says the doorway to Reformation is never closed against any soul. Any soul. Now listen to that, any soul. That means you could be the worst person on earth and you'll have a chance to reform. People say to me all the time, well, oh, Bob, what about Hitler? You know, is he going to just go into the gates of glory? No, because you have to reform. So that means making peace and trying to amend for your past. So, but the doorway to Reformation is never closed. So what you don't do in this life, you'll get to do in the next. But I'll tell you, it's better to do it in this life. And all my spirit people have always said, work on yourself now. Yeah, you can do it over there, but it's a lot harder. And so if you're like this person who wrote to me, who said that they'd lost everything because of drugs, they're in family, they shamed the name, they lost all the family money, the inheritance, everything. And they devastated their family, and everybody in their life was devastated by their drug addiction. You know, that person wrote to me and said, Psyche Bob, can I ever come back from that? Can I ever be trusted? Can I ever really be a mystical traveler? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can. But you see, what's important is that you forgive yourself. So many times, you know, my spirit people have told me, they said that humanity gets hung up on everybody else's opinion rather than listening to infinite intelligence. And if we stop and we listen to infinite intelligence, what is the message that comes from infinite intelligence? First of all, I've never heard anybody, and I tell you, I've been doing readings for over 30 years, I have never heard anybody come to me and say that when they prayed to God, to the higher power, to the goddess, however you call infinite intelligence, mother, father, God, they were never rejected. Do you know that the Godhead does not reject you? You reject yourself by your actions. You bring to your energy, your soul, a place of shame to where you can't move forward. But that's only lasts as long until you recognize it and you say, I want to change. I want to do things differently. Now, I'll be honest, in the material world, it might be hard to get people to trust you again. And for some of these people that have written to me like that one, I had to be honest and tell them, your family, it's going to be a few years. They're not ready to forgive you. But that doesn't mean that you're not forgiven by infinite intelligence. And it doesn't mean that you should not forgive yourself. See, if we forgive ourselves, then I found that everybody else is more willing to forgive. Because your soul, no matter how dark and dismal it might be, and we all get to that dark place sometimes, let's be honest, carries that divine spark. And all you got to do is find that again. How do you find that? You find it through meditation. You find it through prayer. You find it through solitude. This is why, like the other day I said in my video, it's important that you get out and walk, touch the earth, ground down, find out again who you are. If you do that, you're going to connect back to the source. See, and I have to tell you, I get so angry at these churches. I know some of you have been to them. You go into a church and the preacher gets up and says, all y'all are sinners. You're all going to hell. You're all hell-bound heathens. That's sad. To go to church and be lectured and terrified and tortured. I'd rather go to church and hear people say, you might not be all the way there. Let's be honest, we're not all the way there, but we're trying. And with a little hope and a little faith and a little practice, you can get there. I think that's a much better message, and one really that is true to spiritual truth and spiritual light. I've always been amazed at how many people, especially when they die, become earthbound. And you know why they become earthbound? Because they've gotten the message somewhere that they can never go back to God, that they're not worthy, and that they're unforgiven. And so they put all of that on themselves. And when they die and then they go into the spirit world, they've not raised their vibration, they have no hope, and they find themselves at the lower astral plane. This is where all the ghosts reside. Those who have self-loathing and negativity. A lot of suicides, not all, but some, go to the lower plane because they just can't let go of their anger, or their hatred, or their self-loathing, or their fear. You got to work through all that. Got to get rid of that. Now, I'm not saying that's easy. It's certainly a lot of work. But I know that there is the power of infinite intelligence that gives us that. And my spirit guides have always told me, they said, come back to God. Do it now. Don't wait, because it'll be a lot harder. And I think, as hard as it is in this life, we may not be able to always have our friends or family support us. But the one being that never forgets us is the divine, is God. Mother, Father, God. Our creators, our divine parents, God, Goddess, however you want to call it, Mama, God, Father, God, Mother, God, love us infinitely. This is why I can't buy into these preachers telling everybody, oh, you're hated by God, you're a heathen, you're going to hell. What parent, now let me ask you, some of you out there are parents, would you, for a small infraction, or even a major infraction, just kick your child out, condemn them, and never, ever let them back, no matter what they did to improve, or even if they asked or begged for mercy and forgiveness? What parent on earth would do that? I don't know of any that would. And, if that's the truth on earth, there's a saying, as above, so below, as below, so above. And so what we see here of a parent's love, even flawed as it is in many cases, still hints of some truth of divine love. Now, the mind of infinite intelligence, and I love that word. I think it's better than the word God. Infinite intelligence loves you. Infinite intelligence waits to bring you into its fold. We're not talking about religion. It's not about getting right and cutting your hair and stopping smoking, though all those things might help you. It's not about that. It's about love. It's about love. Letting God's love into you and daring to love God. And so today I just want to share these thoughts from the Spiritualist Manual. Next week we'll get back to Sylvia Browne's book, Mystical Traveler. But I thought this was more important. I really wanted to talk about point number 8, because I've been getting so many letters from so many people. And I hate the thought that people are going around thinking that they can't ever serve God because of their past. Your past does not define you now, nor does it define your future. And I don't care what institutions say, whether the church tells you you can't serve God, you're not holy enough, you're not pure enough, you're not good enough. Spiritualist church doesn't say that. A lot of other churches do, but not in the Spiritualist Church. So for those of you who've been asking about spiritualism, these are some core teachings of the faith of spiritualism, a faith that's helped me through my life. Now, it's true that I'm a Wiccan. People say, well, how do you have pentacles on if you're a spiritualist? Well, I'm no longer formally in the Spiritualist Church because I got tired of church politics. But the church itself is not bad. The teachings are wonderful, and the teachings are still part of my life. But Wicca also called me, and so that's the path I follow. But I'm still a spiritualist. I'm a spiritualist and a Wiccan, and I think you can be both. But some of you have said, Bob, I don't know about Wicca, but I definitely want to be involved in spiritualism. And so that's why we're having our Saturday class, to learn about spiritualism. So I want to encourage you to think on these points. Keep them with your heart and soul. Guys, as I said, I'm going to keep this short today, but I am so thankful to be here. Listen, if you didn't see yesterday's video, definitely check it out. It's in the queue right before this one. And help me out today by liking this video, favoriting it, share with your friends, and hit subscribe. Pop over to my website. You know, if you want to get on my schedule for a private reading, just give me a call at my office, 703-825-3929. We've been getting a lot of calls, and I want to thank you. We have a little bit of backlog, but not to worry. We're getting back to all of you. So hang in there. Psychic Bob will get you on the schedule. So if you call, it may take a day or two for me to get back to you, but I won't forget you, okay? Thank you for understanding. And listen, when you go over to my website, www.psychicbob.com, check out my books. There's a tab at the top that says books, and you can buy all of these books. These are books that I've written. I am a published author. Messages from Rose, wonderful book. Ouija Mysteries, The Spirit Board Seances. Psychic Bob's Book of Spells. Psychic Bob's Book of Wiccan Wisdom. All of these are available and more at my website. While you're over there, you can, read about my work, learn about the Order of the Purple Cord, our Wiccan group, and get on my schedule for a reading. So check out my website for sure, www.psychicbob.com. Well, guys, thank you for understanding that I'm keeping this short tonight. I'm just having a little downtime. We will not have the witching hour tomorrow, so don't worry. We'll be back on Monday with horoscopes, so make sure to be here on Monday, okay? And we're going to cover all 12 zodiac signs, all the major transits of the week. Psychic Bob's just taking a little break because I've been working a lot and I need to balance. Because if you want me here long term, you got to give me a little balance energy. Anyways, help me out. Thank you so much for that, for your support. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends. Hit subscribe, join our channel. We'd love you to be here. Well, guys, I love you. I'm going to go have some relaxation time now. So we'll be back here on Monday for horoscopes. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this today, and may you all always blessed be.